Today is a very special day to be a Star Wars fan, as we got the official Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker's final trailer by Disney and Lucasfilm, J.J. Abrams and crew, in order to give fans the overall experience of the tone of this movie and exactly what fans can expect to see come December 19th of this year. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, with the release of the new trailer, a lot of fans are very excited about what they just saw between Rey, Kylo, Palpatine, the voices of Luke and Leia, etc. And today, we will be going over quite a number of things that a lot of fans missed for, of course, the Rise of Skywalker final trailer. Now, the first piece that I do want to go over that does indeed connect to the leaks that we were talking about for a couple of weeks on end is, of course, the new dagger that Rey is actually going to use in this movie that's going to bring her to Palpatine's location on the world of Exegol. Now, this dagger, you can see it in the trailer where she's fighting Kylo Ren on his Ravager ship. Now, in case you guys did not know, the dagger that Rey is holding is actually said to belong to a person that died called Achi. Now, Achi's going to be a character in the film that's going to be central to the plot of exactly how Rey discovers the dagger itself with Sith code written on it. Now, the Sith code written on the dagger is actually said to be a big key in order to bring Rey to Palpatine, and we'll go into that later on. So the dagger, of course, that Rey is using, she actually uses it to destroy the Darth Vader melted helmet podium. You can see that it shatters into pieces there, and a lot of fans were a little skeptical on whether or not that was really a good idea by Disney and Lucasfilm to destroy, once again, another iconic piece of the Skywalker saga. It almost feels like what they did to the Skywalker saber in, of course, The Last Jedi. The other thing that I want to go over is that you can hear Yoda's theme when we are in the droid room with both, of course, C-3PO, Chewbacca, Poe, Finn, Rey, you name it. In the background, you do in fact hear a revised track of Yoda's theme by John Williams. Now, this movie's going to have every single Skywalker saga theme implanted into the actual movie, so look forward to that. You know, they're going to have revisions of the prequel trilogy themes, the original trilogy themes, and so on and so forth. So that's one thing to keep note of here, is that John Williams is really trying his very best in order to redo many of these different scenes. Now, the other piece that I do want to go over is, of course, Zore's Y-Wing and the Annihilator. Now, the Annihilator is actually the brand new super weapon in the Rise of Skywalker that belongs to Palpatine. In fact, he has dozens of them that are equipped on his new Star Destroyers that are a part of his new Sith Empire. So, in the trailer, you can see that Zore has her own personal Y-Wing, and this does indeed belong to Zore because she does have a Y-Wing, and she's aiming at one of the Annihilators. If you look over there in the distance while looking at that Star Destroyer, you can see that that Annihilator in particular is about to fire on a specific world that it's aiming at. Now, the new Sith Empire, it's said that Palpatine has over 500 Star Destroyers that he's going to use in Episode 9 against both the First Order and, of course, the Resistance fleet. And you can really see what JJ's trying to do. He's really trying to step his game up. The other piece that I think brings us way back to 1981, Ralph McQuarrie's sketch of the original Palpatine Throne. Alright, in the official trailer, we do see Palpatine's throne actually based off of Ralph McQuarrie's early sketch back in 1981 of Palpatine's original throne itself, having those spikes made out of stone sticking at the sides of each of the actual throne itself. So that's one thing to keep note of here, is that JJ is also going to stay very true to a lot of Ralph McQuarrie concept art that never made it to the final cut of Return of the Jedi that will now be a part of Episode 9. So that's one thing to look out for as well, is that JJ is trying to stay true to Ralph McQuarrie's art in Episode 9, and you can really see how, you know, we see all these different, angles in the movie that's going to give us different views of the second Death Star wreckage as well. The other piece, of course, that a lot of people are, pretty much very curious about is, of course, the Star Wars Rebels connections, and one of which is, of course, that you do in fact see the Ghost in back of the Millennium Falcon when we see the Resistance fleet heading towards the new Sith Empire. Now, the Ghost, we last saw it in Star Wars Rebels. It's a very popular ship in Star Wars Rebels. A lot of fans love that ship design. The fact that JJ paid so much attention and really brought in so much detail into this movie, the fact that he's bringing a lot of elements from the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels into the mix for The Rise of Skywalker is a healthy thing thing for the Star Wars franchise. It's a good thing to do in order to make something very much true to the Skywalker saga. Now, the other piece that I want to go over is, of course, Poe's new X-Wing. Now, we do see his new X-Wing on the Jungle World. Now, keep in mind that there are going to be two worlds that are going to look similar in this movie. We have the brand new Jungle World, and of course, we have the return of Endor in the Rise of Skywalker. So, both worlds are actually said to look very similar, so it's kind of hard to really determine exactly where Poe is with his new X-Wing. You know, whether or not that is, of course, Endor or just the mysterious Jungle World that we have been talking about that actually holds the sacred city that's going to be the home of the Dark Prince in this movie. That's going to be one of Leia's contacts, so keep an eye open for that as well. Now, the other thing that I want to go over here is that ice base. Now, a lot of fans don't know this, but that ice base that we do see from what appears to be floating in space is actually called Montreal Base. Now, this is actually an asteroid of some sorts, from what it seems. And if you look all the way to the left, you can see Montreal Base, spelled M-O-N-T-R-A-L base. You can see it all the way to the left there, and it's actually said to be a base for, of course, the First Order itself. That's actually building a specific infrastructure on that part of the asteroid, as I like to call it. So, beyond that, the thing that really gets me is, of course, when we are on board of Kylo Ren's Ravager ship. I want you guys to look behind both Rey and Kylo Ren, where you can actually see Kylo's meditation chamber that resembles Darth Vader's. Now, Kylo Ren is in fact going to have a meditation chamber in the Rise of Skywalker that he's going to use, and it's going to resemble Darth Vader's from, of course, the previous movies in the original trilogy, and that's what JJ wanted to do. He really wanted to make Kylo Ren reflect the character of Darth Vader in very unique and specific ways that would really make Kylo Ren feel like a new Vader in the first and second acts of the film. And that, of course, brings us toward the very end of the trailer, where we have, of course, Palpatine's wires behind Kylo Ren. Now, in that specific shot of Kylo Ren toward the end of the trailer, you do in fact see the wire work of Palpatine's life support system. In case you guys did not know, Palpatine is going to be hooked up to a life support system in Episode 9 in order to keep himself alive. How did he actually survive the fall of Death Star? Well, we actually went over that in some of the spoiler videos that we went over, the leaks videos that we went over a couple of days ago, and it all has to do with something connected to Star Wars Rebels, so keep an eye open for that as well. You know, what I like so much about this is that it really does explore the remnants of the Death Star. A great majority of this trailer really does focus on the Death Star itself and how Rey and Kylo Ren are going to be central to the Death Star wreckage and exactly how it's going to lead to Palpatine on the world of Exegol. So the world of Exegol is a dead world in the middle of the unknown regions that we actually got to see multiple times in this movie, with a lot of lightning storms constantly striking the surface of the planet. The other piece that I do want to go over is the last and final shot at the very end of the trailer. You can see all the way to the left that you can see the wire work hooking up to the wall that actually gives life to Palpatine. Now, Palpatine is actually said to use this new chair, if you will, or this new throne that connects to the wire work that keeps him alive. And that's exactly what you see when Palpatine is looking at Rey. It's one of the main reasons as to why Rey appears very much threatened. And this movie does have a lot of undertones, I will add, to the prequels and the originals. You know, there are, of course, the major space battles that give a reflection of the battle over Coruscant, or another great example is, of course, when we have both Rey and Kylo Ren fighting on the Death Star wreckage. It reflects the Mustafar battle between both Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi. So you can really see the parallels and how they really stand out there by J.J. Abrams and what he's really trying to piece together in the upcoming film. That's really going to bring the Skywalker saga together. And that's exactly what Disney and Lucasfilm want to do. They're holding back a lot of those tones for new TV spots coming out throughout the month of November. In fact, a major one is actually said to drop in early November. That's basically going to be another trailer. It's going to be an elongated TV spot that's going to have brand new footage of Rey, Kylo, etc., giving us better ideas of more tones of the movie that JJ is aiming to do. The thing that really gets me a little bit concerned here is, of course, how C-3PO says he's taking his one last look at his friends. This is, of course, a little hint that his mind is going to be wiped out clean once again, from the very start, where he's not going to know who anybody really is in The Rise of Skywalker. So, anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.